Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to another video. With the Nisplay N3 already released, I figured I finally stop procrastinating and get this review of the N2 out after sitting on this footage and ball machine for almost a year now. So without further ado, let's get into this review. I'm obviously not sponsored or affiliated with Nisplay whatsoever. I bought this bad boy with my own hard-earned cash. I bought it with the Oscillator for just over $1,100, and they have no say in the making of this video. They honestly probably don't even know it's being made or who the hell I am. At just around $999 without the Oscillator, not only is the Nisplay N2 one of the more affordable ball machines on the market, but it also happens to be one of the most portable as well. For someone dedicated enough to this sport to start a YouTube channel, but not enough to drop big bucks every week on a club membership and a coach, the portability and price was a big reason I decided to invest in this machine. I figured if I'm able to eke out at least one solid practice session a week out of this guy for a couple of years, coupled with Coach YouTube and my handy dandy GoPro, that ought to be worth the investment. At least that's what the gear junkie part of my brain says to justify this purchase. The only other ball machine I know of that comes close to this price point is the Slinger, which is cheaper at around $650, but is considerably bigger, bulkier, and only has one motor and spin mode. In contrast, the N2 is much more ergonomic and has the ability to provide backspin due to having two motors. Having two motors allows you to fine-tune the amount of pace and spin you're looking to practice hitting, whereas a cheaper Slinger only has topspin, which I've also been told imparts an unrealistic amount of topspin to clear the net and distance. But in my opinion, for a portable ball machine to not be considered just a gimmick, actually be used as a useful training tool, having two motors is a must. Unlike the Slinger and other large ball machines, however, there is no way to reliably store and transport balls with the N2, so you do need to invest in a ball hopper or a basket of some sort. The N2 ball machine is constructed out of high quality aluminum, making it lightweight but strong enough to withstand getting hit without denting or breaking the machine. Some common points of failure for other ball machines would be the ball well. Being made of the same material as the body, unless you're Fonseca or something, I doubt we chunkers will be able to even dent the machine. It weighs in just about 20 to 25 pounds. It is very easy to pick up in and out of your car, and even may fit in the footwell of the back seats. The one drawback I can think of its assembly is that it can be quite loud and clunky with a lot of separate components, which I know honestly is a pretty nitpicky critique, but that's where we're at this point with this ball machine. Having a separated battery is super nice and convenient for when it's time to charge, but it is also another part you need to consider during the transportation. The use of cables are also kind of cumbersome, especially while rolling the N2 around. It also adds another point of failure or forgetfulness, which can potentially ruin a planned practice session. Don't ask me how I know. Between the battery cable, oscillator, ball hopper, rackets, and of course the machine itself, it can be quite cumbersome to walk onto the court. Nisplay claims the battery can last between 3 to 4 hours, which is, true if you break up those sessions into like 1 hour blocks, but realistically you'll be probably running out of juice midway through your third session. I managed to get just over 2 solid straight hours out of this battery non-stop, but I imagine the motor speed and feed intervals all eat into the battery life. So perhaps if you kept everything at like a lower level, it may last as long as the website claims. It takes more than 4 hours to fully charge the battery, so it is something that you need to plan for the day or morning before your session. Alright, let's talk about how the N2 actually plays on court. The manual that comes with the machine provides some default modes and settings depending on what you're looking to do on court, and to be honest, I haven't really had a reason to deviate from the 75% of the time I'm training with the N2. I use about 50 to 60 balls based on the size of my ball hopper, and it only takes about a minute or so to go through the entire thing, and about 5 to 10 minutes picking up the balls. So if you do the math, you actually don't get as much court time as you think in a 60-minute session. With that in mind, I do recommend planning your practice by aiming to a specific side of court for easier time picking up each time. I do use old match balls, so the quality of the spin and depth of each ball the N2 shoots out is inconsistent to say the least. I actually see this as a positive, as it forces my ball recognition and footwork to be on point every single time. However, for those looking for a more consistent feed, I do recommend getting a box of new pressureless balls. I have yet to do that because, to be honest, I'm a little cheap and I like using old match balls since it's so wasteful to just toss balls after a single match. And my C-stands and my grandma's walkers all have indoor feet already, so By the way, pro amateur tennis tip. Donate your old match balls to your local senior center so they can reuse them for their walkers. The Nisplay N2 feeds fairly well, but it will misfeed at least once a basket, which can be frustrating when you're building up a rhythm. I'm sure with a set of fresh pressureless balls though, the ball machine will be much more consistent in that regard. However, while we're on the cons, a big one is that the entire machine will start to pivot towards the ad side during a basket, or being a little too light for its own recoil. Perhaps adding some grip tape to the feet would help, but that won't really help the same problem from occurring when tossing it on the oscillator. Speaking of, the oscillator is alright for what it is. It's crazy how expensive it is for what it does mechanically, but it is pretty well made, much like the N2 itself. Once you figure out how to mount the N2 on it, it becomes a breeze every time. It's not the most secure mount, but again, it does the job. The newer N3 has the oscillator built in, which is a nice quality of life upgrade. Having an oscillator can totally transform your session by forcing you to practice your footwork every shot. Drop down that feed speed to less than 3 seconds and go through an entire basket without stopping for an amazing way to build cardio for tennis. What you get out of a ball machine is really up to you. A small, compact, and easy to operate ball machine like the N2 can be a really powerful tool in polishing specific ground stroke mechanics or developing consistency without the reliance of a partner. It is fantastic for practicing volleys and overheads, which can be harder to practice at the lower amateur level. If you're like me and don't have access to a regular hitting partner or a coach, but do like to record yourself playing to tweak things on your own, purchasing a ball machine like the Nisplay N2 is a no-brainer. You don't even need to go fancy with a GoPro or an action camera nowadays. Your smartphone is more than capable of recording you while you play. And being a smartphone, you can easily ping Coach YouTube for some real-time feedback. Bonus points if you have slow motion for a more minute frame-by-frame analysis, which most modern smartphones do nowadays. I cannot stress this enough. Having such a powerful camera as part of the training process is it's insane. Most professional athletes or other professional industries didn't have access to such tech until relatively recently. And now us amateur chuckers all have one in our pocket. Once you add in some cones and the oscillator, the possibilities of practice and drills and etc. are endless. There are some really creative drills people have come up with online. I mean, even then, like I mentioned before, I do find myself just following the ones the manual laid out, as there is never enough practice for just the standard ground strokes and volleys. Thinking back at it now, my longtime coach of 5 years from middle school to high school was essentially just like a ball machine. I love the guy, but I seriously plateaued with my technique and my game, as he really left a lot of mechanical mistakes on pretty much all of my strokes. I was not aware of the level of coaching available out there and ended up sinking hours of my time and my parents' money into a mediocre coach. Just with this ball machine and a camera, I'm able to go farther than I was able to ever before. Standing on the shoulders of giants, I peer farther than those that came, that's a little too much. That's the beauty of today's postmodern, post-capitalistic world, where the democratization of information and technology is more readily available for the everyday person to take advantage of than in the history of our species. You just need to be aware of how to do so. However, the one thing that my old coach can do that the N2 cannot do at this specific time is set up specific drills and parameters for ball placement. So you can practice coming up to a short ball or finish up a floater, or some specific scenarios like the more quote-unquote smart ball machines can do. I'm still able to practice approach shots based off of the inconsistent feed and finish off at the net. But being able to map out exactly where the ball machine feeds can be an even more helpful in comprehensively fine-tuning your all-court game. That actually looks to be one of the biggest additions to the newer Nisplay N3 ball machine. The smartphone capability for customized drills. Whether or not that and the oscillator being built into the machine is worth the extra $400, I'll let you decide. Doesn't seem like they improved the motors or any of the other mechanical aspects of the N2. They claim to both shoot a maximum of 68 miles per hour, which I guess I actually have to take their word for it, because there's no reliable way for a chucker like me to measure the launch speed. I mean, for the majority of us amateur players, I don't think we'll ever need to go faster than that anyways. But also, nowadays, there are those robotic ball machines that actually can quote-unquote rally with you. So if you're actually interested in me potentially reviewing one of those, freaking robotic ball machines with wheels, come on, sound off in the comments. Maybe we can make enough noise to have one of those companies send one through for review. But back to shilling out to Nisplay. After about a year using the machine, it still performs just as well as the day I got it. I started off using it about once or twice a week, but now that I found some reliable hitting partners, I find myself bringing it out only about once or twice a month. Usually after losing a couple of matches and wanting to tweak something specific, without the pressure of a practice match or even bothering and potentially annoying a hitting partner by asking for specific shots. You, dear viewers, can judge for yourself how effective the self-coaching has been by watching my amateur series of local SoCal 3-5 tennis on this channel. Across the series and the year of matches, I feel as if the changes in my form and technique do start to show up in match play, albeit very slowly and inconsistently during a match. I legitimately bought the Nisplay N2 ball machine after losing the finals of my last season, since overheads can be tricky to practice at the amateur level. And being able to dedicate an entire hour to just one stroke is magnificent on my undiagnosed ADHD. You know what I mean? Like, losing a match on unforced errors can just feel like an interrupted sneeze, and you just feel unresolved after the end of the day. Anyways, I digress. The Nisplay N2 is a fantastic ball machine for the price, and I look forward to seeing the improvements they made on the N3, including the aforementioned custom drills and smartphone compatibility. Nisplay, if you're watching this, I am more than happy to shoot a review for the N3 if you guys send it over. And, you know, maybe set it up with like an affiliate code or something, you know, just to like help out this budding YouTube channel. Guys, I'm not a total influencer sellout just yet, but it honestly would be nice to just endorse some of the products that I actually use in my everyday life. Like Fresh Factor 75 Meals, the sponsor of today's videos. Are you tired of boring pre-cooked meals? And I'm totally kidding, but I'm also not opposed to it either. Diet is a big part about being an athlete and is a topic I would like to tackle in the future of this channel. For example, would going on a keto diet help with the endurance and recovery aspect of tennis? Or is the tried and true carb loading approach the tried and true approach for a reason? Mayhaps the super clean, gluten and dairy free lifestyle a la the Joker is good? All these diets fascinate me and how it'll affect my performance. So if you're also interested in seeing how important the diet can be for an amateur YouTube tennis player, please subscribe to the channel and do all that classic YouTube jazz, you know, like, comment, etc. BT dubs. One of the best ways to show the algorithm who's boss is by watching 2 videos back to back of your favorite content creator. Just saying. My dear viewers, I hope you guys enjoy this informal review of the Nisplay N2 ball machine. In short, it is awesome and a great investment for fine-tuning your technique for a budding tennis player, with or without a coach. I look forward to reading your comments, and I hope I don't burn any bridges with Nisplay by uploading this video. Thank you all so much for watching, my dear viewers, and I'll probably see you never. Toodles.